Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? What up? What's up? Welcome into Sports Money's Pregaming here at 6 p.m. ish. Sorry to keep everybody waiting. Busy day. You know, doesn't matter what the hell's going on. Get all set up, all planned up, everything's good to go, and then inevitably a phone call or something pops in, and next thing you know, you're 5 minutes longer here, 5 minutes longer there, 5 minutes later here than I wanted to be. So my apologies, but we have a big live stream tonight. We're going live at 7 p.m. So we got to move on this show. It's funny, I was talking to MMA Jeff last night. I was like, man, these RBIs are pouring in. It'd be fun to watch them and root along with each other. And tonight we're going to do that. Sharpie Betts has got a little day off of work, so he wants to spend some time grinding on some baseball. Ramon Scott's ready to roll. I'm good to go. And our guy Keith Each Every Stride will be joining us as well. Maybe more. Who knows? Maybe you'll want to join us here tonight and get on screen for the first time. It's all fun. It's all good stuff. And speaking of fun, how about this RBI contest? What a deal we got going on there. You guys have done a tremendous job with getting the picks in. I appreciate that. I need your guys' help. I need your help. Two things are going on with it. First of all, we got like 50 entries, which is awesome. It's freaking cool. Second off, it's a lot to administer. So what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm replying with the thumbs up that I got your pick. So if you don't see me reply with a thumbs up, I didn't get your pick. There's a problem. Either DM me or send it back through or something like that. Also, when the game is over, I need you guys to grade your play. So if it won, put a W or won or winner or whatever, just some indication it won or it lost. And then I will respond to that as well. So just keeps it moving. I missed one yesterday and I had to go back and correct it. Just a lot. So a lot of moving parts with 50 people in a contest, getting the players, the teams, the games, getting it all right, getting the verified lines, all that stuff has taken a little bit more time than it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. Trying to win some money and have some fun while we're doing it. So all good in the hood. I did share earlier today. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find this. Hang on. Hang on. Let me see if I got it here. Might just have to upload it real quick. Top 5 in the sports money contest. Now, everybody is alive. You're alive through the 10 days. We're going to add up all your winners. If you lost, you got a 0. No money cost, no lose. This isn't like the real casino where you're going to lose that $100 you invested in your RBI. But you'll get a 0. If you win, obviously, you're going to get the dollar value for your win. We're going to add up those wins. And at the end of the contest, winner take all. So top 5 leaderboard, Go 2310 gets the plus 225. Outlaw Capper at plus 210. Brent Matthews at plus 200. And DJ Hardy and Jeff M, battling for the biggest scumbag, are tied in 5th place, or I guess 4th and 5th place as it works out through the first day of the contest. There was over 30 of you that were able to cash your RBI yesterday, which is pretty cool. You guys were dialed in. It's fun to start a contest off with a bunch of winners, right? I mean, you don't want to see one guy it's like a Scotty Scheffler golf tournament out there. Guy blast off to the lead and you can't ever catch the guy up. So that's not the case here. Everybody's in. So make sure you enter. And I need you guys to check it out. Check this. You guys know the deal where the spreadsheet is, the Google sheet that we have to track this contest. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. You should be able to edit it. If something doesn't look right, I need you guys to let me know. Doing my best to keep this thing moving in the right direction. The conversation came up earlier today about consolidating the best line, and I don't like that. I think this is a spot where if you got your line in early and the line moved, you should get the benefit of a couple of cents. But that's why I'm trying to ask you guys where the books are that you got it from. So we want to keep our eyes on that. And if something gets graded wrong, win or loss, then I need you guys to tell me if it's been graded wrong, win or loss. So just need your guys' help. That's all. Manage your entry. I'll keep an eye on the whole contest, and we'll make sure that we keep it updated. This is what the spreadsheet looks like, the tracking document. I debated if I was going to go up or down. I decided to go left to right. So day one, you'll see it pretty simple, right? Here's the contestant. Here's the contest day. The player they selected, the team that player plays on, the price in the book, and then whether it was a win or a loss. Daily P&L, it's just profit and loss. It should just say daily result. I guess I can say daily result, right? I guess we could do this on the fly. Result. Oops. And then contest results. So this is the aggregate. The green column is the aggregate. Consider that the leaderboard. Zeros if you lost, dollar value if you won. Pretty simple, right? We're not trying to split the atom here. We don't want to cause any more work than's absolutely necessary here, but I'm glad you guys are having a fun time with it. A bunch of you guys have reached out to me. Some of you think or found out you're better at RBIs than you thought you were, which is pretty damn cool. That was kind of the thought. Like I'm carving these things out, tossing them out every day. And, I've been sharing with you guys the process to go through, but you guys did a terrific job yesterday. Again, everybody's in the game. Even if you have a 0, you're only one win versus the other person's loss away from being right back in this game. So today's an important day. Lots of spaces out there. So Barney, Two Tones, Not a Trash Man, Michael Buena, Here to Argue, Nasty Nate, Razor Sharp, Stirring Company, Jermaine Conley, Ramon Scott, Red Wings 824. I'm calling out the names of the people who have not got an entry in there. Trisha M, Dale Fick, Brent Matthews, Jose Bouquet, GoGo 2310, Schlegdog, Stop Geo Engineering, UPS Guy. Got to get those picks in today. Want to get those picks in so that we can get you guys tracked. If you haven't done so already, take a second. Putting a lot of reminders out there on Twitter, so you guys definitely want to keep the notifications on. Keep your notifications on so that you don't miss when some of these updates go out there. Speaking of updates, the Instagram page is an update that we have been working on as well. So Sports Money Network over at Instagram. And won the play of the day yesterday. Ketel Marte, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs cashed it. It was a minus 145. It actually closed around like minus 160. Today's play is out there. It's minus 125, and it's for a late game. It's another hit, run, and RBI feature in a late game. So if you haven't checked that out, go out there and subscribe. We got, feels like day one with YouTube. We got 17 subscribers over there. One of them's Kevin Carrier. And his lovely wife is another one. So that means 15 of you have signed up to follow us over on Instagram. Check it out. Going to put some plays out there. Going to do some different things. Going to put some different content pieces out there. Of course, YouTube will continue to be the horse that pulls the sleigh. We're just trying to go wide with social media. Today will be the second day we're broadcasting live on Twitter. Broadcasting live on Instagram. That's what I was trying to say. Let me get it out there. I'll figure it out eventually. All right. So that's the deal. I think we're all caught up. What else? The Florida Panthers blasted the Edmonton Oilers yesterday. Lost our under because they took it over. 6-1 final. Look, yesterday we'll go by the numbers. We'll jump into this thing. We got to get moving. We don't have a lot of time to go, and I got a couple of things to do to log some plays before 7 p.m. So we want to be on point. Also, this fucking book, DraftKings, they don't make it easy, you know? I just put a fucking parlay in the length of my arm. And I'm sitting there waiting for it to cycle, doesn't go. And it's because they're fucking with me. Sorry. Hang on. It's real time. This is a tough window. It's a very tough window because I've done it before where I've added a play and then forgot to get it, or not forgot to get it, just didn't have time to get it in. You know, the show goes on and the next thing you know, wherever we are. So we don't want that to happen here. So bear with me. Okay. But I'm looking to have some fun tonight. Going to stretch her out a little bit. Going to play some MLB. Going to put some parlays together. Going to have some props. All those things that we do that make us money. So are we all on the same page? You guys all on board with me? Respond after. You're going to get a thumbs up when you put your play in. If you don't get the thumbs up, there's a problem. After the play is done, win or lose, go back in there and type in win or loss. I see one that says it hasn't been verified. Take a screenshot. If the game's about to start, take a screenshot. Just want to see, we're just trying to keep it legit, you guys. Not trying to make it extraneous or anything like that. Just look. I see here somebody just messaged me and said my RBI play hasn't been verified for today. So just take a screenshot. If it's coming up close to start time, just as long as you've got the screenshot that shows your play and the time, we're good, guys. We're not trying to kill anybody with this contest. Just want to keep it legit and honest. But look, there are some, I don't think they're in our community. We have done a fair job of vetting these scumbags, but there are some people out there that will see the RBI cash and then put it in there. They're the same guys that go in there and they try to beat the books. You know what I mean? Like we've talked a bunch with Andrew about just being a good partner with the books. Just kind of, we want to work with them. That's our cash cow. That's where we're getting our money from. We're not trying to exploit a bad line or they forgot to update the goal. So we're going to go in there and smack it. I mean, some of you guys might want to do that, but that's not what we do here. We don't advocate that. We just want to keep it legit. So excuse me. All right. I'm going to close the Google tab. We're going to back me out. Don't need my face that close. And we're going to get ready to go with a full card. We got Cincinnati, Cleveland, the Cubs and the Phils, the Nats and the Mets, the Braves and the Brewers, the Yankees and Kansas City, the White Sox and Astros, the Giants and Rockies, the Dodgers and Padres, and some WNBA. I was in the process of updating just a quick recap on yesterday. Every day I like to make sure that we're clean. Start the new day clean. You got to know whether we're winning or losing here. We lost yesterday. We lost a little over 2 units. Sucks. But we flat bet, so it's all treated the same. Cleveland couldn't get the job done. Jose Ramirez did. Should have just left a Jose Ramirez over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. But it lost. So did the Cubs. The Cubs lost in extra innings 4-3 against them fighting Phils. But the first 5 under 3.5 cash for us. So split the middle on that one. We did get Tampa Bay. The Rays got her done. 10-8 in extra innings. Sweaty, but winner. First 5 under 4. And that Atlanta Brewers game was a push. It's going to happen in baseball with a lot of volume. The Brewers blew it 7-1. Are they back to their slumping bat ways? I don't know. But the under 6.5 in that Florida Panthers game. 6-1 final. What are you going to do? Final. The Oilers Oilers blew it. Oilers didn't just lose. They blew it. The question is, can they rebound? First game, not going to overtime in the Stanley Cup Finals. The under 9.5 in that Arizona Seattle game did not cash. It went to 12. Arizona, however, did smash that -1. I mentioned Ketel Marte over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs from the Instagram play of the day. He had 3, so that cashed for us. And then the LA Storm, -7, did not get there. So that's how you lose a couple units. Sucks. But it is what it is. We're going to pick ourselves up. We're going to dust ourselves off, and we're going to fight. We're going to slay that dragon today. How about that? Shout out to Lewis Eisenhower, our newest member out there. Let's go. You guys know the deal. It's time to smash that thumbs up button. Terrific job yesterday with the comments. Asking you guys to add just one more after your play is won or lost. Make sure that I get it right. Help me help you get that barbecue gift basket But we're in show. In show, the best way to help us and show it and let everybody know we're here doing it is to smash that thumbs up button. Let's not forget that. Thumbs up on the videos. Thumbs up all the time. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Now's a good time to smack that thumbs up. Okay. You'll see across the bottom. Don't forget to join our contest here. Get in there if you haven't done so. Get those picks in. I see a bunch of you guys are filing in, so it's all good in the hood. Want to keep her going? I see a bunch of guys responding in the chat here. So let's see. Get your pen and paper out. Let's see what the boys and girls have to say for their best bets today. And Gerald Jones is going to lead us off. The leadoff hitter in baseball season. Tampa, Boston, over 9. 53-43. My man picked up his dub yesterday. And he's rolling. He's giving you Tampa and Boston over 9. Shout out to Joe Dub. Shout out to Robert McCormick. Nicholas Handy says the whole world on the Orioles, and I don't see it. Love the O's, but not here, he says. I had a trend that favored Baltimore, but that's a tricky spot. That's a real tricky spot, Baltimore and Detroit. I'll tell you this, I do have a leg tied to a parlay with the Baltimore Orioles. No straight play for me on the Orioles game, just and the other leg cashed. So I don't know. If the Orioles win, I'll get paid somewhere around 3.5 or 4 to 1. Just a 2-legger, just a 2-teamer with some Euro soccer action, but I'm not going to hedge it either. I just don't care enough to get invested in. I'm tired of looking at that game. I've been looking at it all day trying to understand why the line is Baltimore minus 130. Doesn't make sense, Nicholas Handy. I agree. Ignatius Pennyfeather the 7th in the house. Joe Dog says, what's happening, fam? Would have been $1,000 day if the Oilers didn't score. Ain't that something? Shout out to Gonzo. 2nd place in the contest. Outlaw Capper, our guy. Old E's here. Jay Main. Gerald Jones has added team to pick today. Got hotter bat today. There's our guy, Ramon Scott's been running so hot. Says 30 out of 50. Wow, great job, sports money community. Man, Ramon, I couldn't have said it better myself. In fact, I was taking a look at the community post for the poll. Over 50 of you registered for the poll for the Florida Panthers game, and the Panthers got the edge. Keeping rolling, man. You guys, those community polls, 70% is unbelievable, but true. Ignatius Pennyfeather says, I didn't get my pick verified today. Screenshot it. Just be safe. Screenshot it. I'll do it as soon as the show is over. Mitch Morber, no, there's a new video. The new video says day 2 contest. Tomorrow's video will say day 3. What'll happen is you'll see the videos will be out there after the last game has started to avoid confusion. So day 1's video went out. I didn't put yesterday's day 2 video out until 10:15. The last game started around 9:45. Just to avoid any confusion. And it says day 2 contest entry in those comments field. Tomorrow's will say day 3. That'll go out there probably around, well, let's see. I'll tell you exactly when it's going to go out there. So it looks like the last game's 9:40. So it'll be 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, you'll see tomorrow's contest entry out there for day number 3. Good question. Good question. I want to make sure you guys get into this thing. Gerald Jones says, Ozuna came through top of the 9th. Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun? Some of these guys getting him in the 8th and 9th inning. It's like, this is his last at bat. Is he going to get it? And he gets it. And you guys are reaching out, telling me he got it. I'm like, that's awesome. I love seeing it, man. I was trying to update him in batches on Twitter there as they were coming through because they were fast and furious Redbeards in the house. He's running it back with Fry. Jay Main says, sorry. Some hit run RBI. He played Marte 3+, Olsen 3+, Crow Armstrong over 1.5, and Contreras over 1.5 for the Cardinals. Time to stop Gio. Jay Main says, I took Marte yesterday, 3+ plus 145, Wilson 3+, and he went 0-5. Oh, that sucks, dude. Shout out to Subhuman Gaucho. Nicholas Henry says, I've thought about going through the comments and putting a parlay with some of these RBIs. You guys are kidding. That's what I said. Adita Day. Can I start with my entry today? Yeah, we're not taking any points away. So we'll make an exception today, and anybody that missed yesterday, since there's the worst that anybody got yesterday was a 0. Feel like you got a 0 yesterday, so we'll make an exception here. I know the powers to be. We'll make an exception. Nicholas Handy's trying not to copy anybody else's picks is getting harder. It is. I was talking to Gonzo about that. Subhuman already authorized it, apparently. Yeah, we want to make sure today be the last day for you guys, though. Make sure you get in there. Don't miss it. Asking you guys to do a 10-day contest entry. I've been putting the contest out there for over a week. We've been talking about it for almost 10 days now. So it should have been pretty clear, but we'll make the exception here. J-Main, I'm going through them ribs RBIs at 632. Get a couple in a parlay. Peter Grassi says something like, DraftKings has flaws and they mess with lines on you. Sneaky forkers. J-Main says, Peter, yes, sadly, they got me a few times. Switched the line on my dumb ass. Don't realize it till it's too late. Ignatius Pennyfeather, the 7th, says Brent Matthews. I took a screenshot. Don't stress, Mike. Good. Peter Gracia says, like New York Yankees and Tampa Bay. Good call, Tampa Bay. J-Main. So now I double check before every bet got me too many times. Yeah. Peter Gracia. Sox and Rockies lead MLB in errors. Lexicon. Yesterday was a rough one indeed. Let's regroup. Bo Jackson giving you the cards. Our resident Toronto whisperer fading them Blue Jays today. Says the Jays will lose at least one game in the series against the Cards, and he thinks it's tonight. J-Main says he likes Marte because he cashes through. Marte's a fucking killer right now. That's why I like Marte. I said that more or less yesterday. Stop Gio says, Mikey going to win his own prize. J-Main says, it's trash. But they may be favored for a reason. Povich is bad at home, bad against righties, and bad at night. Exactly, J-Main. If you model bet, then remove it. Let's go. Let's get after it, you guys. I got to get in there. I got to get some plays in here for you guys. Gonzo playing Pittsburgh -1, LA Angels -1 tonight. 10 minutes till first pitch. Torkelson for an RBI. That's a nice look. He's always a killer. Shout out to Tarek B. What do you think about the Yankees and the under? I like the under. Oh, Devers can't even hit. That's what happens to me, dude, so many times. I get an RBI, and it's like it happens with the Red Sox a lot. It's like, which one of these guys is going to be the shitbag? And everybody else ends up getting 3 or 4 hits, and then fucking, there you go. All right. Let's get it going. Kelly V's asking for a trend. I got a trend. They are our friends. Button. Who's got the button? All right. Excuse me. I just choked myself with excitement. Cubs in a bounce back spot are 43-15 if they are favored after a loss. Could be a good spot. 43-15. AOD, what's up, my guy? Good to see you. Let's go. All right, I'm going to start this card off with you guys here. We're going to talk about the Cincinnati spot. I double-dipped this Reds game right off the hosel here, right off the start of this thing. Got to take a mental note on that. All right. Bottom line, I think we're in a little mini regression opportunity for this Cleveland Guardian spot here. I'll give you guys the splits right quick here. Big line movement. 77% of the bets and 73% of the cash are on the Reds. Line's gone from +104 to -104. So it's correlated movement. Small dog opening. Small favorite. Not really. I mean, they're -104. The Guardians are -106. Total's moving from 8 to 8.5. 93% of the bets, 94% of the cash on the over. I said this earlier when I was on show with Sharpie. I am on Fade Slade mode for me. Fade Slade mode. It came out in my head faster than I could articulate the words. Because this guy's a pile. He's got a 4.87 ERA, and they got Andrew Abbott on the bump for the Reds at 2.18. We saw what happened yesterday. The Reds took him to Boot Town. You guys know where Boot Town is? Just have a buddy get out of work on a Friday night, say he couldn't come out because it was boot time, and his girl was invited. Maybe. Yikes, that's a true story. I just remember the look in her face was always like, great, take him out. Anyways, Abbott, look at phenomenal year, 2.18 ERA, 1.06 whip through 10 starts. He's crushing it with the Ks. He's got almost a 28% K rate as well. So, the thing for this one is it's a bounce back opportunity. The dude gave up 5 runs to the Brewers, and he was at home of all places. Before that, he had just 2 earned runs through 6 combined starts. Guy was on fire. So we're playing for the bounce back. We're not just playing for the bounce back, but we know the Guardians have struggled against lefties. They ranked 26th in all of Major League Baseball. Some of you guys had talked about that yesterday. Over the past 2 weeks, they've been even worse. So they had a 2.69 through the season, ranks them 26th. They got a 2.36 over the last 14 days as we zoom in to see what's happening as of late. Abbott, when he's on the road, we know Cincinnati's a hitter-friendly ballpark. When he goes on the road, he's playing even better. He's got a 2.05 ERA. So not to dial into too much detail on this one, other than I just like a spot where I'm going to fade this Guardians team, and I'm going to take a double dipper. I got the Reds. Look at the first 5. They're showing you that Abbott against Cicconi's no matchup. Cicconi's that 4.85 ERA through 3 AAA starts. Comes on, and he's got a 4.87 ERA in 4 Major League starts. Pretty straightforward, right? Not a lot to talk about with that spot. I just like the Reds, and I like them to smash. Reds smash today in this game. Look at Jerry Davis. Tripled in Reds game. Moneyline. Team total over 3.5. And Abbott over Ks and outs. It's going in. But Damon Waring's on the other side. He's going to fade us here. Sub's got some action out there for us in soccer. We need a soccer guy too. So it's good to see Sub getting some plays in there for us. It says fading USA and Mexico in soccer friendlies today. Probably the move. Wouldn't go crazy. Doubt either home side cover. Didn't USA just shit the bed? Didn't they just shat their diapers? If I'm not mistaken. Wasn't that on Saturday, Sub? Can't remember. Anyhow, speaking of shatting the bed, the Chicago Cubs blew it for me yesterday. Last leg of a monster fucking parlay. I live bet them too because I was like, they're winning this game. The Phillies, I stand by it. I stand pat. They're in trouble without Bryce Harper. Now, that being said, we learned yesterday, Arizona game went from 9 to 9.5. The key number of 9, it pushed to 9.5. That game ended up going over. I was on the under. Going to learn my lesson a little bit here. And there's a big question mark on this game, and we'll talk about it in a second. But the line hasn't really moved. 51% of the bets and 59% of the cash are on the Cubs. I just talked to you guys about that bounce back spot for the Cubs, right? Where was the number? 43 and 15 for the bounce back opportunity. Colin Rain starts our 31 and 15 in this position that he's in as well. So I do like the Cubs in this bounce back. But I'm looking at the total, 60% of the bets, 68% of the cash. Sharp respected betting came in, and they've been banging on this over. It did move from the 9 to the 9.5. And that's what's suspect to me because they've got Mick Abel. We talked about Mick Abel, Cain and Abel, last start that he had out there. We were on him and he cashed for us. He's got a sub 1. He's got a 0.79 ERA. Truly a product of strong development. The program didn't rush him up. He put him in the minors. He got his time to develop, and he's coming into the majors, and he's playing like a firecracker. Colin Ray's got a 3.59 ERA on his side of things. Just feel like this is one of those spots where you've got a lot of loaded bats for this Chicago Cubs side of things. They haven't seen this guy before, but the thing about it is this is a top 3, top 4 offense when it comes to the Chicago Cubs. If anyone's going to get to this young firecracker, it's got to be a top 4 offense, and that's where I like this Kyle Tucker opportunity. I gave him out for an RBI earlier today. I think this lineup's going to be tricky enough, and there's just a lot of power up and down that it's going to put a challenge on this Philly side of things here. And I think what happens is if he gets touched up, it's early, it's big. It's a bases loaded grand slam type of situation. And we just need the Phillies to get a couple of runs to push it over the 9.5. So this line started at the key number of 9. It moved to 9.5. We're going to learn our lesson from yesterday. We're going to take runs. And if you look at it on the paper, they're less than a 1 ERA. It doesn't make sense that this would open at a 9. So I'm going to take the 9.5. Sub says, you're correct. USA Soccer has been gut. I said it, man. Should be illegal. Should be illegal for America to participate in soccer. It's a waste. It's a free pass. It's like Kazakhstan getting a hockey team. That happened. It's a free pass. Nobody's taking Kazakhstan serious. Stop it. Stop that nonsense. Fucking Kazakhstan. I'll tell you who we're going to take serious. This NL East battle in the Washington Nationals and the New York Mets. Big, enormous money coming in on the New York Mets. Minus 164, 87% of the bets, 88% of the cash, and it's come down 20 cents. In other words, everybody loves the Mets and they're making it more attractive to bet them. 96% of the bets, 95% of the cash are on the over. Started at 7.5. It's moved to 8. I heard Sharpie say today on his show, and I couldn't agree more. Gore has put his big boy pants on, I think. I'm paraphrasing. But Gore's coming into his own. 2.87 ERA. Griffin Gas Canning on the other side's got himself a 2.9 ERA, and he's playing fairly well. Obviously, we have the Nats going on the road and the Mets getting back home for the first time in a minute. And that minute's actually a little bit longer because it was a West Coast road trip, the Dodgers and the Rockies. And the Mets are playing their first game out of Coors. On the flip side, the Nats, hard to gussy them up, right? I forgot who said that to me the other day. Hard to gussy that one up, isn't it? I was like, I don't think I've really ever heard that. Nonetheless, I guess defense is what I would say about the Nats. They've got a nice little understreak rolling here. They're struggling to catch wins, but they won a game 2-0. Then they lost 7-1. Then they won a game 2-0. Then they lost 5-0. Then they lost 4-2. So, the key is they're not scoring a lot. And that's why I think that margin at 7.5, or the way this thing opened up with 7.5, says a lot. I also think what they're telling you here is the Mets bats are in trouble. It's my assumption. They're leaving Coors. You got Gort coming in. You got reverse line movement. And we know the Mets bats are like the Twins bats. They get hot in bunches and they get cold in bunches. Did you know the team that's coming back home after a 6-game road trip versus a team that's going on the road versus a 6-game road trip has a tremendous advantage for the team that's now going on the road? In other words, the Mets coming back home slows them down, gets in their way. And I think that's exactly what happens today. I'm taking the Nationals. I'm going to take a big swing here. Division rivals, so, they see each other quite a bit. I understand your affinity and love for Griffin Canning. If you're on the Nat side of things or the Mets side of things here, I fully get it. I'm not. I mean, look, Canning's got a 15-4 trend if he's a minus 130 or more and a 9.5 or less. So there's a lot to be said for that. This just to me is that spot where you got first game on the road versus the first team coming back home. Big opportunity. You want to fade the Mets against lefties. 181 and 145 all time in those spots out there. Well, I shouldn't say all time, but since this thing's happening, but enough of an advantage. Game 1 road dog. Played the last 6 at home are 37 and 25. Yeah, we're going to take a swing with the Mets. We're going to follow that reverse line movement. We're going to Ramon Scott says Kazakhstan are ranked 15th in the world by the IIHF. That's because there's really only 5 international hockey programs. I would surmise that Kazakhstan ranks just ahead of Mexico, Brazil, and I'm not sure how Cape Hope. Do you think they consolidate and put one giant hockey team together and just call it the Horn of Africa? But I'd imagine that's where Kazakhstan ranks just above. Finland, Norway, Czech Republic, Germany, USA, Canada, and Russia. That's 7. Did I forget any? Did I say Finland? Maybe I'll toss Finland in there too, just as a sport fucking on that one. Because everybody likes beating up on the Finns. I like their Finnish jerseys, but I think that does it. I think that gets them all there. Sweden. All right, I forgot Sweden lexicon. All right, so we're up to 9. We got 9 teams. And then Kazakh. And so there's the 9, and Kazakhstan ranks 15. Kazakhstan did get a win not too long ago. But didn't they beat up like Afghanistan or something like that? I'm ready to have some fun tonight. Let's go. Let's get her moving. And let's talk about this Atlanta Braves and Milwaukee Brewers spot. The big question mark is how does pitching manage itself with Quinn Priester? I was surprised yesterday. I'll hand it to him. I was surprised to see the Atlanta Braves come out there and firebomb this Milwaukee Brewers team the way they did. Thought it was unfair. I thought it was disrespectful. Thought it was inconsiderate to my first 5 under because I pushed. I'm not in love with Holmes on the other side of things either, though, when it comes to the Atlanta Braves and their starting pitching matchup. This guy's a meatball on the road. He throws a 5.55 ERA. He shit the bed his last game. 3.1 innings. He got hit 4 times, 3 earned runs. Did have 4 Ks. Could be problematic for a team. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think we're on the downturn for this beat ball. He had 6 innings, 7 innings. After his 7 innings against San Diego, which was on a hitting slump, by the way. San Diego was in the middle of that slump. He then goes 5-1 loss, gets hit 6 times, gives up 3 earned and a homer against the Red Sox. Then he goes 3.1. So where's the bottom for this guy? When we look at the numbers and the trend, or I'm sorry, the spread, we see money moving in, and it's correlated with this Atlanta Braves team here. Is it an overreaction? I don't know. 56% of the bets, 63% of the cash are coming in on the Atlanta Braves, but the total's coming down. 96% of the bets, 96% of the cash. Here's that key number trickaroo. It started at 9, it's down to 8.5 with all that money coming in on the over. Do we get a pitching duel with Quinn Priester and Holmes, Sherlock Holmes? I don't know. I think it's a good bounce back spot for the Milwaukee Brewers. I like a plus money home tag for a home team out there, sitting around plus 120 on top of that. So, like, for me, this is a good opportunity where I'm looking at it saying, I see these bats. They can be, they're variables, I guess, at any given time. There's no question about it. But, Priester, let's just start there. Shit the bed early in the year. But if you start, this is where we have the data now to start breaking this thing down. Over his last 6 innings, or his last 6 outings, he's given us over 5 innings per game. And he's got his ERA down to a 2.51. So if we got a pitcher in a buy spot, and a spot where the books are potentially shading the fact this is going to be a lower scoring game, let's look at the anomaly in this one. Is it the fact that the Braves scored 7 runs yesterday? Yeah. The Brewers were 10-3. I don't know why the Braves and the Brewers are giving me a tongue twister here. The Brewers were 10-3 over their last 13 games. They split or won 5 of their previous 6 series before that one against Atlanta. So they've been on fire. Right back to that Philly series when we first saw Bryce Harper go down. The Braves lost 7 in a row before winning yesterday. They're 4-14 over their last 18. They're 11-23 on the road. Grant Holmes, just average, I guess is what I would say. He's got a 10.4 walk rate, which is 25th percentile. He's putting ducks on the pond, and he's got a shit barrel rate. So when teams hit him, they make contact. And that contact, I think, is enough here for the Brewers. They're not crushing at the Brewers. But I think they're going to be in a good enough position here. Plus money for the home team. They walk a lot. They show plate discipline. They're second overall with a 13.5 walk rate. Put enough ducks on the pond, and you get a nice hit, a nice barrel rate that gets a nice hard hit out there, them guys come trotting around and they start coming across the finish line, and those runs will add up to a victory for this Brewers team. And I mentioned Meatball on the road with the 5.55. So if anywhere he's going to struggle for Holmes, it's going to be here in this spot today. I think it's a good bounce back after the anomaly that was a loss. I'm not going to take the first 5 though. I guess I probably should, but usually when I'm playing a team to bounce back, I don't like to get over invested in one particular side. So that's kind of my thoughts on that one. Well, I'll go quick here. We got the best pitcher on the mound in Major League Baseball, the most profitable pitcher in Major League Baseball, and Max Fried. How do you play the Yankees? In a big favorite spot. Count on to win the first 5 in full game, and that's enough. We see Max Fried go deep. As long as he gets into that 6th and they get the win, or they're leading when he gets in there and they maintain it, then he comes home with the victory. And Kansas City bats are spotty. That whole AL Central just feels spotty to me when it comes to the bats. The whole Central in general. AL or NL, I guess, is probably the better way to say it. Where's the fucking... There it is. 94% of the bets, 87% of the cash are on the Yankees. It's not really moving. There's that key number of 9, came down to 8.5. 90% of the bets, 90% of the cash. Not a lot of jazz in this one. I do like Cameron. I do understand why this... I think this total's high. Somebody asked me earlier what I think about the Yankees under. I think it's a great under spot, to be honest. I just kind of singled out the fact that I think we can see Fried get the win. The guy's the most profitable pitcher in baseball right now. So, you could take the first 5 minus a half, but it's still not going to pay out as much as it would if you just take this guy to get the win. Granted, there's a little bit that we have to factor in on there. Left-handed pitchers on the road after a home stretch are 8-1. We got the lefty advantage rolling in our direction. And after a blowout, teams rally. They're 55-24. So I like this Yankee spot. I think it's a good under. 24-12, Yankees versus Royals unders over the last 36 plus in this position. Makes a lot of sense to get a lower scoring spot. But and I do think, a good play. I played this guy last week was Cameron to get over 17.5 outs recorded. I still like that. I think that's a strong look. But we'll take the Yankees. We'll take Fried to get the win, and we'll keep her moving. Got a live show coming. We got to move. Gots to move. Gots to move. Bo Jackson's got a little action going on there against the Washington Nationals. Nanya says, damn it, Bo. I was thinking the same thing, Nanya. Ramon says, is that Czechia? The Czech side? The Czech Republic? Is 4th, huh? I forget the Slovaks are in there now, too. I mean, they really watered themselves down. So we got 10. We got a 10-pack of teams out there in that position. I sit around and think about it all night. And I will live while I'm having an adult beverage. But a full slate. So we've got 3 baseball games left. Yikes. Let's keep her going. Let's get her moving. Let's talk about Astros and this White Sox game. I strongly considered the double dip and hammering on the White Sox. I'm still close. 8-10. Don't be surprised you log into the live stream tonight and I'm betting the White Sox live. Crazy as that sounds, I don't like the Astros. Now, McCullers has been, well, I want to say feast or famine. He started out famine, but he's been feasting. So he's got it back together. He got a midseason start for the first time of the year, and he shit the bed. We'll forgive him, but we won't forget. He did come out there back, and he's been bombing. 89%, that's 91% of the cash on the Astros. It's coming down. It's reverse line movement. Also, an 8 has dropped to 7.5 on the total, with 97% of the bets and 96% of the cash here. McCullers has gotten his ERA down dramatically to a 4.44 ERA. And Smith on the other side's got a 2.46. Back-to-back dubs. For a shit team like the White Sox, we saw that earlier, they're leading in errors. Hey, man, 3 of their last 4 have been W's. They won against the Tigers to close that out 3-2. They won 7-2 against KC. They won 4-1 against KC. They lost that last game 7-5. They add a day's rest in there, and they travel on down to Houston. 3-2 in their own right. 3-2 to the total as well. Both these teams are zigging and zagging on the total. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's one good pitcher gets in. I don't know what's going on with regards to the zigzag in this one. I do know we have some intersecting zeros. We have some intersecting zeros, and I'm taking the under. Don't be surprised if I jump back in on the White Sox. Houston's got themselves in an 8-0 under position. It's not so much the trend. It's the total that we're seeing in these games. Listen to these numbers. Houston's 8-0 to the under if they had an error and struck out fewer than 10 times the previous game. The average total we're seeing in those spots are 5.4 runs. They're 9-0 to the under in openers when their line is less than a -210 after a game is a dog. So they're not a huge favorite expecting a monster blowout after coming off a dog game. Those games go under in series openers. Best pitcher versus best pitcher? Maybe. I don't think McCullers is the best, but the Sox, listen to this one. 11-0 to the under. Team that's averaging more than 7.88 hits a game if their starting pitcher has 1 consecutive starts. I mentioned the double starts for the White Sox. The average runs in those games? 4. 4. They're playing, in other words, it's their Super Bowl. That's how I decided. That's how I define that one. Teams hitting over 7.88 hits a game, you're expecting to see a lot of guys on base to some degree. And your starting pitcher just went back-to-back dubs. You show up to that game, you're ready to fire, and your pitcher stays hot. 4 average total runs. I took the under 7.5. I might fire on the White Sox. I fired on the Brewers last night. Added spot there, and I fucked myself. So I'm a wee bit apprehensive. But I'll take the White Sox under 7.5. We'll roll on here. We've got 3 more games I got for you guys. 1 WNBA spot here today. San Francisco and the Cubs. Rolling in. I'm sorry, San Francisco and Colorado. At Coors. To me, we'll talk about the splits. I'm going to take an under at Coors. I might be crazy, but we got this number coming down on some books. It opened up as San Francisco. I might look at the Rockies in this game. How about that? Somebody stop me. Nats. Playing the Nats against the Mets. Playing the White Sox against the Astros and the Rockies against the Giants. First of all, the Giants are struggling to score. 96% of the bets and 97% of the cash are on the Giants. The lines come down from -230 to -209. Giants are not, and it just came down to -208. Another cent ticked off there, just as I said it. Unless one of you guys is fading me, it just moved back up to 11.5 just now. 55% of the bets and 65% of the cash are on the over. That's a lot of runs for a team that's not putting them together. Now, I get it. Palmquist is a pile of shit. Harsh, but true. We're not in the everybody gets a participation trophy era here. We're in the call it how we see it in an 8.5 ERA. Yeah, it ain't pretty. Now, they only play the beginning of the game, not the full game. So that certainly, yeah, he's got that going for him. He'll let up a lot of runs, and then maybe that bullpen struggles as well, and they can't find a win. But I just, is he going to be that bad forever? And it's not just I know it's kind of it's an ambiguous question, right? But look at the Giants. Yeah, they've been winning, but they just took down Atlanta, who we talked about being ice cold from a batting perspective. They're struggling to get to that 4-run mark. Team totals are a problem for them. And what's their team total here? 6.5. They did win, or they pushed the series against San Diego. They lost the first 2, 1-0, 3-2. They won 6-5 and 3-2. You know, a San Francisco team, I can't wrap my hands around it. And that's kind of why I was looking at, first of all, I think it's too many runs. Despite it being at Coors, who the hell's going to get all those things? The Rockies, by the way, as home dogs after a loss are 101 and 87. Think about that. Coors is a tricky environment. You don't play there that often. When you do get out there, sometimes those balls get hanging and you're just not used to it. And fly balls, that is. Correct that thought process. Get your minds out of the gutter. And it's enough. It's enough to come out there and pick up a W. And gosh, I originally approached this game as saying I wanted to get involved on the White Sox. Then as I looked at it more, though, I thought Kayla Harrison here, I talked about this on Sharpie's show. Sharpie's of the opinion that this guy's come into his own. 4.34 ERA. It doesn't even really have anything to do with him as much as he's got a 1.5 ERA on the road. I mean, this is Coors, though. And he just came off of getting busted up. 4 innings pitched, 9 hits, 5 earned runs. This is probably a rocky spot. I just don't see, they haven't had one game go over in Kayla Harrison starts here, only one of his last 5. Go back to the beginning of May for a game that went over 11 runs. That was against Arizona. It was at home. He's been involved in a 3-0 loss and a 2-0 win on top of that. I get down with it. I like a little under 11.5. I'm not going to dwell on it because we only have a couple more minutes here. I'm going to fire on the Padres. The San Diego Padres against the Los Angeles Dodgers. To me, this line's moving in the opposite direction. Minus 108's moved to minus 102. 65% of the bets, 66% of the cash have moved from minus 108 to minus 102. Just as I say that, minus 103. A cent came back in. Minus 108 to minus 112 on the Padres. The total went from 8.5s to 8s with 96% of the bets and 98% of the cash. It's Dylan Cease Day. Really, it doesn't matter to me if it's Dylan Cease Day. It's Lee Trevino on the other side of things here with a 1.74 ERA. That's an impressive number. You fade the Dodgers as a dog. The Dodger dogs are not a discount. They're 143.84 if you fade the Dodgers as a dog. San Diego at Petco, I get it. You know, I see the totals moving lower. A grind them out type of game out there, but there's a couple guys like Freddie Freeman has been roasting Dylan Cease. I think he's got 11 at-bats with 5 hits or something like that against this guy, but divisional home team that's now become a favorite and lost its last match as a dog, 158-88. Lots of trends, lots of angles to push the Padres. 13-1 Padres spot was the big one that swayed me in that spot there. Team lost its last game. They're now at home. Was an underdog, and they become the favorite. It's just telling you, the books are showing that this is a San Diego Padres spot, and we'll see if the Dodgers can manage their end of business. Last thing I got for you guys is a WNBA spot. I'm going with the Sky team total under 73.5. We talked about the Sky being fundamentally broken the other day. We talked about the worst bet in probably all of sports, Angel Reese's rebound prop over. She may have cashed it based on when you got in the last game there, but it was inevitable. She hadn't cashed it all season. So is she the biggest villain out there now? I don't know. I do know when you start taking more pieces out of a bad lineup, it can't get any better. It can only get worse. And that's the predicament I believe that this team finds themselves in right now. You take Vandersloot out of the offense, you're already struggling. And you're playing a team that's defensive oriented in the New York Liberty. I know it's a lot of points, but they just played the Liberty and they lost to them by like 24 points. So I'm going to take the Sky. I'm going to take them under 73.5. That's the way we're going to put a bow on this show. And we're going to go live in just a momento. Jerry Davis says Slade is cruising through too. I'll deal with that in just a moment. Let's go live, you guys. Join us over there in just a few minutes here. We'll get the boys together. I'm going to pop backstage. I'm going to get everybody dialed up and ready to roll, and I'll see you guys here in just a few. On behalf of the Sports Money crew, I'll see you in just a minute. Don't you go anywhere. Grab a drink. Get yourselves ready. 7 p.m. baseball underway.